Argentina had a much easier path to the World Cup final than Spain. This raised suspicion among many people, thinking, man, did FIFA rig the draw in a way that benefited Argentina to give them an easier path to the final? And as if that wasn't enough, along this already easier path, some specific and suspicious things happened on the field. This also made a lot of people start to suspect the refereeing. I decided to go along with these people a little, do some investigating, and see if I can find anything. Shall we go? Argentina's path was as follows, look. See this little number here under Argentina? The number 3 is Argentina's position in the FIFA ranking. Argentina first faced the number 64 in the ranking, then went to number 24, then to number 14, and only finally faced a team that's at the top of the FIFA ranking, only in the semifinals. Comparing it to what Spain went through, the easiest team was Austria, number 23, and from then on it was only tough opponents, look. They faced the number 7 ranked team, then the number 8 ranked team, and then the number 2 ranked team, which until Spain won seemed to be number 1. If I'm not mistaken, it changed when Spain reached the final. There's already an update. Notice the difference between the two paths. For us to understand if Argentina was really favored in the draw and in the way things are done, we have to keep in mind the FIFA ranking, the World National Team ranking. Because it's based on the order of the teams in this ranking that FIFA goes and does the whole draw. For example, the draw was on December 5th, 2025. So we see how the ranking was in the last update before that date. Look, it was November 19th. After that date, until the World Cup draw, there was no update in the ranking. So what does FIFA do? How does it work? They take these top teams here and protect them from being eliminated in the early stages of the World Cup. That's right, there's a protection, including Brazil. They take the 3 teams that will host the World Cup and the other top 9 from the FIFA ranking to make Group 1. Then from this Group 1, they put 1 team in each different group. This protects any top-ranked team from being eliminated in the early stages. Like, if you get unlucky, if it's a completely random draw, you could end up with Spain, Argentina, France, and England in the same group, and then necessarily one of these 4 giants would have to be eliminated in the first stage of the World Cup. Meanwhile, in another group, someone could get lucky with a 3rd place team that lost 4-0 instead of 5-0, and they move on, while England might get eliminated in the first round. The historical performance of these teams, in friendlies and official matches, determines their place in the ranking. Whoever has been doing well for longer, for more years, is ranked higher. The World Cup draw, protecting those who are ranked higher, is a way to reward the consistency of these teams and to deliver the best possible spectacle in the final stages of the Cup. What's the logic behind the draw? What is FIFA trying to set up with this? It's about taking the ranking and imagine this. Imagine that a top-ranked team will never lose to a lower-ranked team, let's say. There will never be an upset until the semifinals, not until the Cup really narrows down. The groups will be set up in a way that if there aren't any upsets, here it would be against Uruguay, here against Turkey, and then we'd get Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo in the quarterfinals, Argentina versus Portugal. It would be a much tougher and much harder path and way better for FIFA. But football can be very unpredictable, right? Cape Verde didn't concede any goals to Spain, and as for Uruguay, the Uruguayan goalkeeper gave away a bunch of goals to Cape Verde, and Cape Verde managed a heroic qualification. Portugal ended up finishing 2nd in the group, behind Colombia. Turkey, even though I don't think Turkey is a strong team, in the FIFA ranking, they're above Australia and Egypt. And that's how FIFA operates in the sport, drawing lots, moving teams here and there. If everything goes smoothly and as planned, wouldn't Argentina's path be to face the 2nd place from Group H, which would be Cape Verde? And that still means less money in the game, less money from television and advertising. For example, just imagine, hydration break, what happens? Commercials on TV. So I want to put in a commercial for Futebol Maximo, which will premiere on August 2nd. Since this is real news and it's something that's really going to happen, I want to run this during the World Cup so everyone can see it. Do you think it will justify a huge investment in a quarterfinal between Argentina and Switzerland, or in a quarterfinal where it's Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo for the last time in history? In which of these 2 matches do you think more people will find out that on August 2nd Futebol Maximo will be on air? Of course, it's with Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, so you see that even financially, the commercial side of things makes much more sense than the matchups themselves. It's a big deal, especially when the World Cup is getting to the final stages. Me, when Brazil was eliminated, I said, I'm not gonna watch this World Cup anymore, but let me ask you, there's no way I'd miss an Argentina-England semifinal. There I was, watching commercials during the hydration break of a tournament I said I wasn't even gonna watch anymore, because Brazil and Argentina were eliminated. I couldn't really say it right, but you get the idea. But that's not all. Things happened out there on the field. Here, and if I show you the stuff from here, man, you won't believe it. There was a moment when Messi wasn't sent off in a possible red card incident here, which we're going to see. There's even a better angle from the TV. There was a possible foul here. right at the start of the play, and after crossing the whole field, Egypt's goal was disallowed because of this play here, right at the beginning. Among other things and some little tricks against England. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll put the note here, the score, FIFA versus the suckers. We're all the suckers. FIFA against all of us. Every play where the rule is correctly applied, where there's some interpretation, where there's nothing weird, we give a point to FIFA. The opposite is a point for us. The first thing was this possible sending off here of Messi, where he comes in with a high foot from top to bottom from behind and drives his studs into the opponent's calf. He even twists his foot a bit towards the ground. This game was still 1-0 for Argentina. Messi went on to score 2 more goals. He got a hat trick in this match. If he had been sent off, he couldn't have scored the other 2 goals and would have been suspended for Argentina's next games, which might have changed Argentina's group stage campaign. I don't know, maybe it could have. So not getting a red card in this play, I think that's a point for us. In the other game against Egypt, the goal was disallowed because of this play here. Look, in this challenge where the guy lost the ball here, and then a spectacular play that unfortunately I can't show at normal speed with details, otherwise there will be issues here with the footage. But this play here was messed up, and on the other side, the goal and the play were disallowed because of this little step on his foot here. Look, in a challenge right at the start of the play. What bothers me the most about this disallowed goal situation? It's that this foul here happened literally at the farthest point from the opponent's goal. Literally. There's no point farther away than the corner flag. After that foul happened, man, Argentina didn't have the ability, didn't have the competence to stop Egypt from advancing the entire field and getting face to face with the goalkeeper. This here morally was a legitimate goal against Argentina. But here, when it comes to complaining, man, this is the kind of play where you have to complain about the rule, not the referee. You get it? He just followed the rule, man. The guy from Egypt here is accidentally stepping on the Argentine's foot, and he's putting his body weight on it. His other foot is in the air. It's pretty much the same criteria that makes me want to send Messi off in this play here. Look, Messi has one foot in the air and the other foot stepping on the guy's calf. In this play here, I think Messi should be sent off because of how high he stepped. And in this play here, I think it's just a regular foul because stepping on the tip of the foot is natural. It happens a lot. It's part of the game. But here, I think the goal was correctly disallowed. Here, I think it's a point for FIFA. 1-1. Then in Argentina's goal, the comeback goal, the winning goal, the spectacular turnaround to make it 3-2, there was something weird earlier in the play during this cross. Look here. Man, this pull right here, honestly, I think it's the same thing. Like, you have to complain about the rule here, you know? Why? This is a penalty, man. It's a pull where he started to pull the guy to keep him from going for this second ball here, see? Because when the ball bounces around here, the guy thinks, hey, is the dude going to be able to get it facing the goal at the penalty spot to shoot this ball? I think I'm going to pull him. No, he won't make it. And then he lets go. But by then, he already gave a little pull. He already did something. He already had an impact on the play. The fact that it was totally away from the play, that it didn't influence where the ball was going, that the guy wasn't going to get to the ball anyway, man, tough luck for the Argentine player who acted like that. The VAR, look, in this situation, he should say, man, I'm embarrassed to ask for a review of this play because it's pathetic. But honestly, that embarrassment is on the player. The guy pulled the other one inside the penalty area. They're going to have to call that penalty. And why is it different from the Egypt play? This doesn't bother me about Argentina's goal coming much later. Look, Egypt still had the ball here. Salah even fell inside the box asking for a penalty because of this touch with the foot. The foot touches Salah there. Alright, he touched him, but there's no sweep, no clip, nothing to really bring Salah down. Salah is the one who fell here. This here is nothing. This is nothing. After all that, Argentina went on the attack and scored the goal. But what's the difference with this play here? In this play, when it's a penalty, the penalty is a crucial play where VAR has to intervene. So, from the moment the guy pulled and gave away the penalty, VAR already thinks, hey, let's wait for the ball to go out. Let's wait for the game to stop either with a foul, a corner, or a throw-in. Anyway, wait for the ball to stop and then we'll request this review. How did play stop? On Argentina's goal. So there, it's to follow the rule as usual, call the guy, do the review there at the review monitor, and cancel the goal and give a penalty to Egypt. That, I think, is a point for us. The other situation was Embolo's sending off. Like this here, I don't think so. I don't think so, right? There's not even much to say, right? The guy lost it. The replay angle is bizarre, man. Look at this, man. Just look. The dude's throwing himself, man. He even tries to open his leg to force contact here. Look. It came off his leg, but he was already all twisted up, already throwing himself down and yelling. He completely flopped. So what happened? I heard on the broadcast that now VAR has to intervene. If a yellow card is given to the wrong person, then VAR will step in and say, look, you gave it to the wrong person. You have to give it to the other one. Then the referee corrects it. And on the broadcast, they said that in this very specific case, the card went to the guy who committed the foul, but actually the other one was the one who faked it. Then VAR steps in to intervene and tells them to switch the card as well. What I know off the top of my head is that in cases of a second yellow card, VAR can intervene. When there's a very clear simulation like this one, it's a play for a yellow card. With the new rule requiring VAR to intervene on a second yellow card, that's reason enough for me. I wasn't aware of the other rule until I heard about it during the broadcast. So the VAR intervention in this situation is covered from both sides. That makes it 2-2. If you remember other plays that give points to FIFA or give us some points, leave them down here in the comments. Sometimes there are plays that went unnoticed. I didn't put them in the video, but you can update the score down here, keep updating it. And then against England, look, this paper is from their side. Check this out, all 31 dirty tricks from Argentina. Like, this is an English newspaper, man, that listed them. 31 dirty tricks by Argentina in the semi-final against England. Here's how they did it. Just 1 minute in, this happened. I saw it. At 2 minutes, another incident I witnessed. At 5 minutes, yet another. Check out the plays they're complaining about. Here's an example. What happened 1 minute into the game? It's not really about fighting for the ball now. The guy leaves his body in, causes a collision, and even hooks the other guy lightly around the back of the neck with his elbow. All this happened just 1 minute into the game. First, when the guys first meet, he does this look. Then they look at each other, almost arguing, just staring, you know? Saying, hey, do you think there's something going on here, motherfucker? But the idea of this show is to catch these little plays here that always go unnoticed. It's not a play to call a foul or give a card. Maybe the referee just needs to say, hey, I'm watching you, play on, but I saw what you did. So the show picked up on this kind of play and pointed out how Argentina was consistently doing this the whole game, all the time. That made me realize there are many behaviors I'm against, and I think everyone is too. It's ridiculous. But can I tell you something? I'll admit something to you. Man, there are a lot that I'm in favor of. A lot. This one, for example, I can't really answer you right now, but by the end, you'll understand me perfectly. You'll think along with me. The newspaper also notes Berrigan steps back and gets shoved away from the play. Check it out. When the guy pushes him, the ball is already halfway there, and he shoves him completely away from the play. You get it? Berrigan lets his body fall because, like, it's a way for him to get the referee's attention, you know? Him falling here on the ground, it's not that the guy came and knocked him down. It's not that he's acting. No, it's because, like, it's the same as going up to the referee and saying, look, you saw that, right? You saw what happened. You saw what they're doing. It's a way of communicating, you know? It's part of the game. Here, I think that shove from the guy is part of it. These things show that, man, this is soccer. The environment here is hostile. I'm in favor of that, man. I like it. And then Berrigan falling there, man, I'm in favor of that too. Like I said, it's his way of communicating with the VAR. It's an indirect way of communicating with the referee, the VAR, everyone, you know? I like that there are these kinds of things in the soccer games I watch. Another play that the newspaper pointed out, Argentina's defender closing in, and you can see this hand here look high, coming down, kind of giving a light hit to the neck, sort of taking advantage of the marking movement and everything, and giving a little grab up here. The guy even falls to the ground, holding the back of his neck. I think this move is really ugly. He even pushed there and all. In the replay angle, it's behind Lionel Messi. Look, don't look at Lionel Messi, no. Look, the hand goes up and down here, look. Like, you don't do that. This isn't a natural movement, you know? This is just for the guy to sneak in and hit the other guy. So here, two things happen, look. First, this challenge, and then these guys here getting tangled up. Look, what's going on? The challenge here, for me, the Argentinian guy was sneaky, did something wrong, and the English guy, look, he came in clean. Look, check out the English guy. His little foot here, his left foot, he covers the ball. Look, he puts his foot to the side and makes the best possible block so the ball doesn't go toward the attacking end, while his other foot is closing in so the ball doesn't go between his legs. So he's making a wall, he's doing well in the play, he's going in clean, fair. The guy from Argentina, he jumps from here and comes down with his studs. You can see that his priority is to come down from above, and only after he sees that the guy made a wall and wasn't being malicious does he try to direct the ball to the side. But at first he came down from above. Then, now look, when he looks at the other guy and the Argentine gets in his way to stop him from moving, this move here today is in your favor. They've got to call that, man. After that, he gets tangled up a bit. The guy from England pulls him. Then it's another dirty move from Argentina. The guy pulls the other guy. The Argentine throws himself on the ground and leaves his right leg out to kick the guy, kind of pretending it's just part of the fall, you know? I'm going to take advantage of him pulling me and fall while giving him a little kick down here, see? The little kick hit his supporting foot and knocked the English guy down. I think that's lame. Then he just stays on the ground complaining, hey, he pulled me. The referee comes in, separating them, taking the English guy out of the situation. Look, the referee tells the guy to leave, and the guy's like, hey, are you talking to me, man? And the Argentine guy is still on the ground with his arms wide open. That's something I don't like to see in soccer matches I watch, you know? That's my standard. It was similar to what this guy here did, see? This guy got the ball while offside, you know? And the ball is with him here. Look, what did he do? He picked up the ball with his hand here. The camera didn't catch it, but he picked up the ball with his hand and started walking back. The goalkeeper took the ball from the guy, let it go, they bumped shoulders, and that's fine. I want to watch soccer games with moments like this. The player grabs the ball, delays the play, comes here, bumps into him, and shows that the environment is hostile, but it's still within the bounds of fair play, you know? I think that's really cool. What I think is ugly is that the guy did the same thing. He pretended he was falling and left his right leg there kicking the goalkeeper, you know? Look at that. That's nonsense, man. He fell. The goalkeeper looked at him and said, why? Why did you do that? So it seems like the goalkeeper has the same mindset as I do, you know? Like, it's fine here, okay, we're arguing, we're opponents, but come on, kicking me is messed up, man. And the English newspaper was pointing out these little things and found 31 of them in the game. I don't agree that all of them are bad though. This tackle here was fair on the ball. Bellerin didn't let himself fall on the guy on purpose. He's just falling because of the challenge. And when he gets up, the guy looks him in the face, yells, shouts right in his face, and Bellerin can't ignore it. Look, they stare at each other, and I think that's really cool. And then there's this dirty trick here. Look. He pretended to apologize to the guy, pretended to be nice to him, saying, no, my bad, sorry about that, and then gives him a little headbutt. Just a light one, nothing serious, but the guy knows there's VAR. He's not totally crazy, right? He knows there's VR and all, so he goes there, puts his hand on the guy, does a little sneaky move. Both of them know what happened, and he didn't give any evidence for VAR to step in and review it, or for anyone to request a review, you know? So this kind of little thing, I think it's kind of lame. Here too, Kane looked like he was going to put his hand in front of his mouth, but he didn't. And look, the guy is pointing at him saying, hey, you're putting your hand over your mouth, complaining. The other guy from the back also ran up to complain that Kane is putting his hand over his mouth, and there's that Vinny Jr. rule, right? For the guy to get sent off, look here, look there, he put his hand over his mouth, even though he didn't, because you can easily read his lips here. Look, wanna see? He puts his hand over his mouth. There, look, you can easily look, go to Futebol Maximo, leave a like and subscribe. You can clearly read his lips. If you can't read his lips, it means he didn't cover his mouth completely, so he shouldn't be sent off. But there's the Argentine guy, being annoying, and the newspaper is pointing it out. Then this happened a lot, Messi falling and the newspaper pointing out that he threw Bellingham towards the advertising board. I think this is natural. Just a normal movement. You're fighting for the ball, the guy falls on you, and you push him off to the side. Come on, man, my opponent is heavy and falling on me. He didn't throw him into the board, just told him to get off because he didn't want to be touched. It's just part of the game. When Argentina scored the equalizer, this guy here ran toward the goalkeeper to yell right in his face, and he gets frustrated. Look at that. I think that's part of the game, man. I think that's cool, you know? This isn't being unsportsmanlike, he's just making the guy's life miserable, messing with his head, letting off steam at the same time. I think this is cool. The environment is hostile but fair. After an almost impossible control here, he gives the ball a little tug to mess with the guy trying to put it back in play. It's because the ball slipped off his foot, because he wanted to pull it even more. I'm in favor of this, man. You really have to do it. Give a little tug, slow the guy down, make him more irritated, and at the same time, it's not being unsportsmanlike. He's not coming over here and kicking the guy for no reason. He's just tugging the ball, delaying the guy, making him more stressed, and I think that's part of the game, man. The newspaper noted Dibu grabbing the ball, falling to the ground, and trying to waste time. Notice his small smile. He knows he'll appear on Futebol Maximo soon, so he gives that quick grin, but he's not wasting time since there's already the 8-second rule. You can tell the newspaper felt slighted by that smile, but that's just part of his intent. I think you just move on. So, to sum up, Argentina does know how to play this mental game. They do know how to play the game of gamesmanship. At a level that up to a certain point, I think it's cool for the player to have that kind of cunning. But there's a line that gets crossed where it starts to look kind of ugly. It becomes something I wouldn't want to see in any soccer game. Argentina's easy path was mostly due to upsets, since FIFA wouldn't find it interesting for a team to have an easy route to the semifinals. For every FIFA match against us fools, it wasn't that much of a blowout after all. Let's see if anyone comments below, right? But that's soccer. Argentina is in the final, let's see what happens.